At the end of March, U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Tom Vilsack, he visited the University of Nebraska at Omaha to engage in discussions about the future of agriculture. He met with ag producers, business owners, industry leaders, and university administrators from both the Lincoln and Omaha campuses. A major point of discussion for Secretary Vilsack during his visit included the slow yet steady loss of farms and farmland across the United States. In fact, he stated that since 1981, the U.S. has lost approximately 544,000 farms and roughly 155 million acres of land that was in farming that's no longer used in farming today. This poses the question, what do we do about more farms being consolidated into fewer hands, and how did we get to this point?
Several years ago, Secretary Perdue was in Wisconsin, and he was asked this question in the context of dairy operations. And his comment, which was quite true and quite honest, was, well, the system in America is such that you have to get big or you're probably going to have to get out. The problem with that prescription is that to get big, you have to have access to resources. You have to have access to income. Over the last 3 years, 4 years, we've seen record levels of farm income in the United States. In fact, the last 3 years of farm income have been the best 3 years in at least 50 years and arguably in the history of the country. Now, I'm pretty sure that if I went around and talked to Nebraska farmers and said that to them, they would look to me as if I was absolutely crazy, because that's not what they necessarily experienced on their individual farm. And there's a reason for that. And the reason is that a lot of the farm income has been concentrated. In fact, if you took a look at the top 7% or so of farms, it would be roughly 150,000 farms out of 1.9 million or so. They sell more than $500,000 in sales every year. And those farms cumulatively collected somewhere between 85 and 89% of the income. But they represent 7% of the farms. That means that roughly 1.7 million or so of farms had to share somewhere between 11 and 15% of the income, which explains why nearly 50% of farms didn't make any money at all, and the other 40% or so made money, but the majority of money they made to support their families came from off-farm income. In fact, 88% of American farmers work off the farm or have off-farm income. So the question I pose today is, are we okay with a system that requires farmers to work multiple jobs? Or is there a better opportunity to ask the question, why is it that the farmer has to work 2 jobs? Why can't we make the farm generate more than one source of income?
To that point, Vilsack introduced programs and grants that the USDA intends to implement in order to expand economic opportunities for rural communities as well as small and mid-sized farms across the Cornhusker State.
Today we're announcing 541 awards across 44 states of additional REAP funding, $120 million of additional REAP funding. 536 of these will be grants, 3 loan grant combos and 2 loans. Here in Nebraska, we're awarding of that number 18 additional awards in Nebraska for wind projects, solar projects, for energy efficiency, coolers in grocery stores. There are a variety of and you'll hear it from some of the panel members today. All told, in Nebraska, we've done 190 of these grants in the last couple of years, about $15 million. This is going to allow farmers to reduce their costs, but it also allows farmers potentially to produce excess energy on their farm. The question is, what would they do with that excess energy? Well, we have a program called PACE and New Era. And the PACE program and the New Era program are aimed at RECs and municipal utilities. RECs and municipal utilities that are anxious to convert from fossil fuel generated power to renewable energy power. And what we're doing is we're investing about $10.7 billion in this effort to accelerate transition. I think it's possible for farmers to work cooperatively with their neighbors to generate electricity that could help and assist their local REC in that conversion. And that creates, if you will, an energy economy, or an energy commodity, which is a new income source for farmers. So in the climate smart renewable energy portfolio opportunities, there are four significant opportunities for value added or additional income.
Some exciting news there from the Secretary of Agriculture. Appreciate him making his stop up there in Omaha. And speaking of USDA, I thought this is interesting, learned it during the week. Of course, USDA, they published the Census of Agriculture, and from that data, we learned that Cherry County remains as America's top beef cow county with more than 180,000 cows. It has nearly double the amount of cows compared to the second highest county, which also happens to be Holt County here in Nebraska. Some interesting tidbits there.